Hi, hello, welcome back. I'm so delighted to have you here again. My name is Morolake. You can call me Mo for short. My friends call me Mo. Okay, today I just want to lay the foundation before we start building our skyscrapers on this channel. And the first thing I'm going to talk about, the first tip I would give to anyone who is moving here to Europe, who is a mom, who is, your young lady, anyone moving to this part of the world, you're making a shift from anywhere in the world to Europe, you're changing environments, you're changing jobs, whatever it is, but particularly for those who are, moving to Europe. I think the first thing that I would say to anyone is we need to have that mindset shift. And I think a lot of us do not have that mindset shift and we run into problems. And it comes with those simple things. You need to tell yourself, we need to tell ourselves that, look, I'm no longer in my home country, in quote. I'm now in a completely different environment. You need to say that to yourself over and over again. I'm in a new environment. The dynamics have changed. My life, it's no longer the way it used to be. Everything has changed. I'm just not in my zone anymore. I'm in a different environment. You see, the moment you have that mindset shift, you will see that the strategies, the tools, the resources that you need to be able to thrive in this new environment will start opening up. But you see, staying in your mind, in your home country, has a way of blocking you from seeing opportunities in your current environment. A lot of us, including myself, still live in the, when I was in Nigeria, in fact. And then you keep saying that over and over again. And you never see the opportunities that are looking and staring at you in the eye right before you. You need to tell yourself, I'm no longer in Nigeria. Nigeria, I'm not there. Let's leave that. Let's just forget it. In fact, stop listening to the news in Nigeria. Listen to the news in your country. It's as simple as that. I'm sharing tips that people who are much older than me, who have lived here in this country for 10, 15 years, have also shared with me. I also started listening to the news in the language of my current country, Germany. Sometimes I sit there, I don't even understand what they're saying. I'm just looking at the images. Just acclimatizing, just telling my mind, what am I doing? I'm feeding my mind with information and telling my mind that, look, I'm no longer in Nigeria. I'm in a different environment. So that mindset shift is so critical. It's so important. The moment you have that shift, you will see, you start accepting the reality of where you are. You start accepting the culture of where you are. You may not embrace it, you may not imbibe it, but you just come to terms with the fact that I'm no longer in my country. So that is the first thing that I would say to anyone moving to Europe. And now specifically to my moms, I feel like I'm called to women, particularly to moms. So if you're a woman, if you're a mom, I think we have a responsibility to have that shift, or else we will keep grumbling. Our children will pick on the grumbling and the complaining. And then you just have a grumpy mom, a grumpy home, a grumpy apartment. Everything is just grumpy instead of a happy mom. And a happy home is where a happy mom stays. So you need to have that mindset shift. And it starts with the simple things. Look, you're now in Europe where you may not even know your neighbor for as long as you live in that apartment. That's the reality of where you are. You may have a child, you're pushing your stroller into the bus. Don't expect anybody to help you. Look, let me share an example with you. When I first had my child, I wanted to walk into the bus. In Nigeria, my home country, proudly and always proud to be a Nigerian, regardless of what you read on TV or see in the news. Anyway, I was about to walk into the bus with my stroller. My son was in the, normally in my country, somebody would have tried to help you and all of that. Everybody just passed by me and left me to figure things out. And I was new to, knowing how to, there's a technology for pushing your stroller into the bus. And I was just there, struggling with it, and nobody came to help. That's part of the reality of our new environment. Let's leave that, Let's talk about food. You won't eat small chops. Oh, just talking about it, I can already see small chops. Small chops is not across the road. There's no app to other small shops as it is anymore. Uber may not be where you are. For those of us that lived and worked in Lagos, you know that if you're going to the next street, you can actually just order Uber. God help you if you're in the interior villages of, of Germany where there's no Uber, right? It's just taxis. You know, it's in those little things, right? Sometimes your neighbor doesn't want to know you. They don't want to have anything to do with you. And that's okay. That's the reality of where you are. I don't know what it is that, you know, you have to have a mindset shift about. Some of them are grumpy, they're not nice, they're not always smiling, you know, they're not always joyful like you are, they're not always, they're not warm, you know. There's no Owambe. I know, right? You brought all your Ankara and all your Ashwebi. There's no Owambe as much as, you know, you'd have loved. But this is the reality of where we are. So what is it that you're facing in your own location? Which part of Europe are you staying in right now? And what are the things that you need to just accept? You may want to grab a journal. You may want to grab a piece of paper and start writing them down. These things have a way of helping our minds. Your mental health is important. And just saying, look, this is where I am now. And these are the kind of people I have. So what do I do? When you do that, then you say, okay, so what is the solution? What do I then do, right? How do I make the most of it? Let me give you a simple act that I've adopted for myself, for instance. Somehow, I put my ears to the ground. Anybody coming my way, I pack all my Nigerian food. That's how I cope with the food situation here. So instead of eating brot and Kaiser bread every day of the week, I have all my Nigerian resources here. And I'm able to satisfy myself that even if I don't get it outside, at least I can get it in my home. I know there are simple things, right? This is like, the list of things that I can use as an example, I know, but I'm just saying that that's how I cope with my own little things. My own, the little thing that, you know, means a lot to me may not be what means a lot to you. So find those things that, you know, you're constantly grumbling and complaining about, and find a way, accept it. This is where we are, and then start strategizing, start thinking of a way to move on. Another hack that I have done, you know, to adjust, you know, here in Germany, for instance, is my friends. Okay, I don't have friends, neighbors down the street, but thank God for our phones. We're now global citizens, right? You can have Zoom call, you can schedule Zoom calls, video calls with your friends, with your family members, like literally schedule it on your phone. Right? And say, look, every week, every day, I'm going to call this person. I'm going to do that person. I'm going to, you know, let me tell you another thing I've done for my Owambe. Those who know me know that I'm a very Owambe kind of person. I love my Owambe parties and all those dancing and all of that. Sometimes I just play music. I play, you know, songs. I sometimes, even on Sundays, I sometimes just dress up. Like, yeah, tie my gele, just whatever it is that needs to help you, you know, settle in and make yourself comfortable, to help you adjust and accept the reality of where you are, right? I hope really this helps you. I really hope it helps you. Accept it. You're no longer in your home country. Stop talking about it. You know, I'm a child of God. I'm a Christian, and my faith helps me, you know, to navigate some of these challenges. I remember a time when the Lord spoke to me and said, look, stop behaving like the children of Israel, right? They're always looking back and always wishing that Egypt was better. Oh, if we were in Egypt, we would have eaten rice and chicken. Hello? Then why are you here? God was really upset with them about the fact that they did not face the reality that they are going to Canaan land, even though right now it's not easy. So yes, God has given you that promise. You have moved, you have left your country. You are going to Canaan land. You are going to the promised land. And right now, it may not be cozy. It may not be easy. Your plans may not have gone as, you know, things may not have gone as planned. That's okay. Accept where you are and keep facing forward. If you keep looking back, you may just end up becoming like a pillar of salt. And we don't want that, right? And particularly if you are even a woman, a mom, you have a responsibility to your family, to your children. We don't want our children picking up those negative energies. So, mama, I would say that please have that mindset shift. Have that mindset shift. Have a conversation with yourself. Grab a journal, write down these things, and start thinking, okay, this is where I am. How can I recalibrate? How can I adjust? How can I cope with my new realities. The moment you do that, you see that things start changing. And I truly hope that things would change as you make that decision. Is it okay to pray with you if you don't mind? Lord, I just want to thank you for that mom, that woman who is like, oh, I'm in this environment. Everything is so hard, so tough. I ask that, Lord, you would send your angels to her and just encourage her and just let her know that she's loved, that your presence is not limited to a particular country, a particular zone, that your presence is just around her. And even in this season where she's navigating a new environment, let her experience you, let her experience your divine touch, your divine provision, your providence in people, in resources, in opportunities, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. Thank you for being a part of today's session. I hope it has helped you. Don't forget to share with somebody, like, subscribe. In fact, I want you to drop in the comment section 2 things you're going to come to terms with, 2 mindset shifts you're going to have. Let's start the conversation in the comment section and let's see how far we can go. See you in my next video. Bye.